that skew. And if those numbers aren't aligning, then
you have a problem.
There's a problem. And you can adjust that in real time. How about financials? If your financials are not closed on a monthly base. So if you keep those numbers that just keep rolling and you got the employee that goes, I'll get that to you, and it never happens. How about relatives? In small business, we employ often. There's a lot of family members.
Well, a lot of family members.
And unfortunately, we see a lot of, or best buds, right?
I knew the guy for 40 years. I trust him with my dog's life. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we don't have to go very far to find story after story after story. I thought they were doing me right. But in reality, this is your company. Your company, your business is a mirror, and it reflects all of your successes, your failures. It reflects your people, processes, and systems. If you don't like the reflection, then you really need to change it. I've even heard of employees giving themselves raises that because the owner was disengaged in their financials, and we're not talking a little raise, we're talking, because they're salaried. So you have an employee that decides that they're worth more money.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's called embezzlement. So the owner didn't okay it. They didn't find out for, let's just say, a year later. Then after that year, the confrontation happens. But here's the deal. We don't fire that person because they're a nice person.
Well, he just made a small mistake. He needed to send his kid to, I guess, some sort of a university or
they're headed off to Harvard.
Or something of that nature.
They needed to buy that new Tesla.
That's right. And they just didn't have it in the food budget.
So when you have that employee is fired. You don't allow that employee to continue to sit there because, they're such a nice person. And in small business, you can look at, oh my gosh, if you're a disengaged CEO or a disengaged business owner and you don't know what your employee is doing, the buck stops at your feet. And you really have to take a look at, your disengagement and what is it actually costing? Because remember, they can down your company. They can destroy your dreams. The dreams, remember, that you've worked hard, your blood, sweat, and tears. At what point is it good to keep an employee that will write their checks, increase their pay wage? I mean, who does that? We shake our heads and we go, oh my gosh, that would never happen. Well, the unfortunate thing is that it does happen, and we've watched it. So, and they justify it. They justify their motivation or their intent to steal. They rationalize the justification of the dishonesty.
Right.
And, the other thing is that the opportunity that sits there, they have the ability to carry out the misappropriation of company assets, whatever those assets are. And so I understand that, business already, is a contact sport, well, as we like to call it. So, but to excuse that behavior and to justify it because you need somebody's help is a complete wrong mindset. The bottom line is that as much you might think you need them, but in reality, they need you because you've become their bankroll. And there is no justification for thievery. At what point in our society did we say it was okay? At what point did we say it's okay to steal and rob from the government and not pay our taxes? It doesn't just affect, thievery doesn't just affect one person.
It affects everybody.
It does. When I was working for craft food for Nabisco, one of the things that we did was we would go in and do assessments. So we would do inventory.
Okay.
And I was absolutely mortified. I was there early in the morning. I was actually at Walmart setting up some analytics or, some analysis stuff. Watched the lady walk in. She had, it was summer. She had a pair of shorts on. Sure. She had her little bikini top on, her little flip-flops. She literally walks over to the rack, tries on jeans, tries on shirts. I go to the employee and said, I think this person is getting ready to walk out of the store. And the employee looked at me and said, do you think it's over $12? And I said, I have no idea. I'm just watching this happen. And the response was, well, if it's not over $12, the police won't come.
So we just let them walk out.
So we just let them walk out the door.
Well, they need new clothes.
So it's you and I, as the consumer,
have to pay an increase.
We pay for that.
On product.
So it goes to the character of the person. And really, it's a reflection of the character of our society, the integrity of our society, who we are, and is this really what we want to become? Do we want to become a society that tolerates that and just goes, so what? Big bad government, big bad whatever. It trickles down to the employees, and it actually affects our small businesses in a pretty horrific way.
Well, we're running out of time, Candace. Why don't you do, since you get the last word on most of the shows, unless you're vacationing or I've locked you out of the studio, give us kind of just a real quick rundown of the points that we've talked about, because we've covered some real interesting areas today.
So if an employee has controlled access to reports, data, or even people, inconsistencies in the reports, the data, or the people, they've falsified information, it's too good to be true. Those are some really good red flags. Some of the things that you don't want to do is to protect yourself is to have the same person that's reconciling the bank statement also be a signer on the check account. Having multiple bank accounts with no accountability. Having a budget that's not compared to your actual financial results on a monthly basis. And if you want the complete list, then we've got that ready for you. If you want to go ahead and reach out to us, we would love to email that. We want to protect you and your dreams. Please reach out. It's Candace, Candace, at wildchildgroup.com. And that's WLDCHILDGRP.com, wildchildgroup.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Well, it's been a great show, and we've once again ran out of time. But I hope that you have an opportunity to start a real conversation with your employees or maybe some of the future investors and talk about these points. We need to build a better tomorrow in the business world. So until we meet again, remember, keep us smiling.